Hey, what's up, guys? Matt Modine with OddsJam. Just going to bet some MLB in this video. So I'm able to do a full recap from yesterday. I had three total picks. They ended up going 2-1 with my last bet, losing the Mariners -1.5. They got smoked by the Orioles. Got that one totally wrong. But still up $90 in profit yesterday, which gives me another profitable day, which gives me two in a row. About 245 in profit from my last 2 days baseball betting, which makes me profitable overall, which is great. Finally, back in the green there. But more importantly, I am profitable since my new strategy, which I am now tracking here. So up about 150 since I started tracking with my new strategy. So hoping to keep the success going there, and we'll continue it today. So I have one bet so far today. I'm not sure what the odds look like on this, but I took the Rays Brewers yes run first inning plus 124 on FanDuel. Hit this one for 3 units. For today's today's betting slate, I have a couple picks that I really like. To detail quickly what my new strategy is for game props, like first half total runs, run line, total runs, anything like that. It's anything 3% and above is within range, and anything market with 25 and below. So as I'm scrolling through this, I can easily rule some stuff out that I wouldn't bet if it's above either below 3% or above 25 cents in market with, like this one right here, I would end up avoiding. For player props, it's a little bit different. Instead, we up the market width to 35 cents and below, and we also up the EV percent to 4% and above. So it looks like there's a couple here that are both on DraftKings that I think would be well within range. Of course, all of the bets that I get using the OddsJam Positive Expected Value page. I go at oddsjam.com, I go to the Positive EV page, I refresh, and I see what things look like. And the way it works is, just to give a brief recap, the OddsJam line that you see here, it's pulled from the most accurate bookmaker in the world in terms of how they actually are pricing lines. They market themselves as winners welcome. They accept sharp action. They accept money from all over the world. So they generally have the most efficient betting market. So anywhere in which we can get more favorable odds on another sportsbook that doesn't have as inefficient of a betting market, it's going to be positive expected value. Now, in order to get the true representation of what this OddsJam line thinks of a market, before you do anything, you need to look at the no vig odds, which luckily is just on this calendar, or on this table right here, this column right here. The no vig odds, essentially the way that works is sportsbooks, they don't charge a transaction fee, so you can place as many bets as you want on FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever, and they don't charge a fee, right? Instead, they juice up the odds a little bit and make money by people betting on both sides, by two individuals betting on each side. So the standard odds you see -110 each way. The way that works is you have to risk $110 to win 100. So if there are two bettors that one takes one side, one takes the other for $100, no matter what outcome, the sportsbook is profiting $10. Doesn't necessarily seem fair, but that's their business model. So in order to get a true representation of what the OddsJam line are pricing odds at, you first need to remove the VIG and find out the no VIG odds. Then from there, anywhere in which we are getting more favorable odds on another book, that is what's going to have positive expected value. So this first one right here, Sean Manaea under 5.5 strikeouts, is a perfect example of something that I would be willing to bet with a little more research. So number one, market width at 33 cents, check. The EV percent above 4%, this one at 4.47, check. So let me go ahead and add this to my spreadsheet to come back for later. And this percent here, to detail that a little bit, could just be viewed as your profit margin. It's kind of interesting. You can literally see what your mathematical profit margin, your percent of return is, just by looking at the percent. And that number is a formula based on the odds you're betting it at and the no vig odds. So the wider the gap, the higher this percent is going to be. So everything is well within range there. No vig odds have it at -115. The OddsJam line, or excuse me, the DraftKings line, which we are betting, has it at -105. So now the next thing that I like to do before I decide whether a bet is something I should place or not is just open the links in a new tab, which you saw me do there. Right click, open in a new tab, and just see where all the sports books are pricing lines at. Basically, the goal of what we're doing here is to look and see if we're truly getting a discrepancy or not, or if maybe maybe the OddsJam line is a little more of a discrepancy, a little more of an outlier. In that case, maybe a bet should be avoided. But this is not an example of that. So again, DraftKings, minus 105. OddsJam, minus 134. Every other book has this closer to the OddsJam line, with FanDuel having it kind of in the middle. But OddsJam line still has it as the most favorable, the most likely of occurring of all of these books. Minus 125, minus 118, minus 129. And then the minus 105, this is a clear outlier. No book has it below minus 118. So this is something that I think is worth betting. It's a good outlier in terms of all the books. So let's add it to my spreadsheet. So we're looking at Sean Manaea, and we're looking at his under strikeouts. So this is for today. And then in terms of unit sizing, for player props, I go off of this calculator, but I mark it in half because player props have a little bit of a wider variance. So I don't risk as much money on them as I would a game prop. So this one looks like it's a little bit over a 2% wager in terms of my bankroll. So $60. So I'm going to go ahead and put 60 on this one. It was minus 105. And now for this last column here, I'm actually calculating what my net expected profit is. So I said that the percent is essentially your profit margin percent. Well, once you actually place the bet and determine your bet size, you can actually calculate the expected profit in terms of dollars just by multiplying the two. So you just multiply 60 by 4.47%, and we see the profit margin on this one is roughly $2.70. So that is how much I can expect to make over time on this one. Obviously, if the bet wins, I make all of the profit. If it loses, I lose all of my risk. But you will see over time, your expected profit will start to equal your actual profit. Like, as you can see, my actual profit is actually above my expected profit since I started my new betting strategy, which is good, but I'm sure it'll start evening out over time. But I'll gladly take the green for now. So anyways, my first bet is the Sean Manaea under 5.5 strikeouts, minus 105 on DraftKings. Next up, another pitcher prop, another one on DraftKings, but in this case, what we're looking at is Tariq Skubal over 2.5 player earned runs. So it's still a pitcher prop. Instead of strikeouts, this one is just earned runs. So you have to hope that there are no errors. So it's unforced runs, which would be annoying, unearned runs. But everything checks out from a math perspective. The profit margin is 4.42%. So let me just go ahead and add that here so I don't forget. The market width is 34, which is below the 35 range. And just looking at the odds, so the OddsJam line prices this at plus 101. With the VIG removed, essentially plus 115. So now, before I bet it, I just want to look up the odds in a new tab to make sure that it is a true discrepancy and worthy of betting. So we're looking at Tariq Skubal over. And this one is going to be something that I will not end up taking. So as we can see, OddsJam at plus 101, BetMGM plus 20, Caesars plus 115. But if we're just looking at this objectively, the OddsJam line is actually the outlier here. So this is actually going to be a bet that I will not take. I'm going to leave this in so people understand the logic of bets that I do and don't take. But this is one that I'm actually going to avoid by looking at the discrepancy and seeing that actually the OddsJam line seems to be the odd one out. So I'm glad that happened. I'm going to leave it in so people can understand the thought process, and we will move on. So this next one, Brewers -1 against the Rays. So again, since this is a game prop, the market width we are looking for is 25 and below, which this one is at 20. The EV percent, 3% and above, which this one is. So check off those boxes. From an odds perspective, this one, the OddsJam line has it at plus 131, plus 139 essentially with the VIG removed. So getting it at plus 148 is a positive EV play that equates to roughly 3.78%. So let's try this again, 3.78. Now, before I do anything, gotta open it up in a new tab, make sure that we are truly getting a discrepancy. So we're looking at Brewers -1, and this one is good to go. So granted, we only have one book to compare to, but the one book is closer to the OddsJam line than the BetRivers line. And this isn't a perfect science, but it also looks like BetRivers has the best odds for -1.5. So we could probably deduce that most books would have this -1 lower than what BetRivers had, making it a true outlier. But again, that's not as clean of a leap to get to. But enough with Caesars. and OddsJam agreeing. So this one is going to be something that I will take. So for my unit size, I'm going to just go exactly what the calculator tells me, which I will round up to 65. So another 2.5 unit play. So this was $65. It was Brewers -1 run line. The odds were +140. And that's everything. So now I just need to drag this down to see my expected profit, $2.46. So again, not breaking the bank, but you just want to stack profitable plays on top of each other, and you will be profitable in the long run. And those are going to be my 2 bets for today. So ended up skipping one. Sean Manaea under 5.5 strikeouts, Brewers -1 run line. This one's on DraftKings. This one's on Bet Rivers. So if you're tailing, let me know. Would love to hear it. Other than that, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And that's all I got for you. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.